When they are consuming your minds and your thoughts and your dreams, from the angels to the demons and to the mysteries unseen, there is no need to worry. There is no need for dread. It's just time to discuss the thing at the foot of the bed.
Good evening, everybody. And if you're just tuning in, you're listening live to 105.3 and 107.7 out of the beautiful city of New Orleans, Louisiana, to UFO Paranormal Radio Network, also known as United Public Radio Network, or just UPRN, to the thing at the foot of the bed. I'm one of your hosts. We got lots of people popping in here. We're going to say hi in just a sec. My name's Lorilei Potvin. I'm a host here on the network of my own show, The Angel Rock, on Monday nights from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then co-host with my good friend here, very talented individual who I will pass over in just a sec. I'll get the housekeeping things out of the way. The thing at the foot of the bed. So like I said, I am Canadian clairvoyant medium, crystal Reiki energy healer, Akashic Records practitioner, spiritual teacher and mentor, and registered nurse. A few little things. Welcome. We're so glad to see everybody here. I guess I always like to celebrate my birthday for the week. My birthday was on Tuesday, so I guess we can continue the birthday shows this week. So I got a new computer. We'll see if we can end on time at the same time tonight. We'll see what happens. But if you're just joining us for the first time, you want to join in the chat with the other people, we involve you as part of the show. We wouldn't be doing a show if the audience wasn't here. So we love to have you be a part of this. Head over to UFO Paranormal Radio, either Facebook, YouTube. You can go to David's channel, which is the Spirit Experience. My YouTube, both YouTube. Mine is The Angel Rock with Lorilei Potvin. On Facebook, David has the Spirit Experience, and I think that's your group, right, Dave?
Yep, that's it.
And then I have Lorilei Potvin, my page on Facebook, which is open to the public. You can find us all over. Just as a reminder, because I sometimes forget to tell you guys this, I've had people pop in, and we have in this show too. They go, oh my gosh, I just hit the last part of the show. I've missed it. You will never miss a show. There is always a copy. Always on YouTube, on Facebook, also wherever podcasts and talk radio is carried, our archives are carried. And speaking of archives, this network's been around for just over 25 years. So we have multiple shows streaming day and night, I believe 7 days a week. So when we're not live, we're still live because we have the archive server going, and we've got lots of shows that have been syndicated here, that previous hosts, as well as some of us hosts that are still here. So there's always something playing. There's something new for everybody here. We are always getting new shows, new hosts. So check it out. So if you like what you see, please like, share, and subscribe, and tell your friends and family. Lastly, 2 things I just remembered to tell you. We are not streaming on UFO Paranormal Radio on YouTube. I just realized that we are actually on UFO Gods and Paranormal. The reason why is because of an old show, long before the censorship that now exists, something gave us a little strike. So we're off the main channel for a week. So check us out there. Or better yet, if you want to watch us on Roku, UFO Paranormal has their own Roku channel. So you're going to sign into your Roku account. You're going to go to the channel store. You're going to look for UFO Space as P as in paranormal. There'll be a list that comes down, I believe, with the 3rd or 4th down. You're looking for UFO Space, Paranormal, and United Public Radio. That's our channel, and you can watch us on there. I know Dave and I are streaming the thing at the foot of the bed there tonight. Lastly, if you're on Facebook, and Debbie Schmoley, you show up. Thank you. She said, happy birthday, Laura. I see you. She's had a problem. I know she's one of them. But what you can do is you can go to StreamYard.com/Facebook, give them permission to use your picture and your name. We'll know who you are. Otherwise, you come up as Facebook user, or just put your name behind it. We'll show you if you're Facebook user. Okay, you'll know that. We'll post it and we'll let you know. Or you can choose to stay anonymous too. Now, let me introduce poor Dave. He's always sitting here so patiently. Here's Dave.
My name is David Hanzel. I am a spiritual medium channel and all kinds of fun stuff like that. If you're watching, like she said, from UPRN out of lovely New Orleans. You can also, you probably might be watching this on the Spirit Experience YouTube channel. There's also the Spirit Experience Facebook group I have, and also a new TikTok, which is now called the Spirit Experience. So if you look at the Spirit Experience on TikTok, YouTube, or Facebook, you should find me. And on Instagram, it's Medium David Hanzel. Thank you so much. And also, I have another podcast called Mystic Stew, and you can check that out. And also, a good monthly spot. And I did a channel session. So if anybody guys want to hear like a channel type session with me and my guide Zamir, that is on how I made it through. And that you can find anywhere as well. So, that being said, we're going to talk about ghosties tonight. So I wore my shirt so you guys would not confuse me with anything
Actually,
else.
I did too. We didn't talk ahead of time, but I kind of wore ghosty tonight. Hi, Leah. Hi, Debbie. Hi, Zach. Hi, Debbie. We got all these other people here. Thank you, Zach. You said happy birthday as well. And Debbie says I came to YouTube tonight. That's why you didn't have a problem.
Oh, there you go.
Should we tell them why we're going to talk about ghosties?
Yeah, go ahead. Start it off.
Okay, so I had Carrie Lynn Shellhorn on Monday night. Now, you all remember I showed you guys or played for you an EVP from her 13th show on the network. She's on Fridays from 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it's called Spirit Switchboard. And she had Rick McCallum on, who's a paranormal investigator. He's also a retired stunt coordinator. He was the stunt person for Kane Hodder in the Friday the 13th movies. He's an author. And right when she asked him, have you ever had an attachment? And I happened to be producing that show that day. I had headphones on and we all heard it. We were all debating, was it a dinosaur? Was it a growl? Did it sound like somebody was sucking something up through a straw? Well, lo and behold, I'm telling you, I barely made it in. Well, I didn't barely make it in. I came in at lunchtime on Monday. We were out at the camp. There's no internet out there, so I was running like crazy. So everybody settled, all set on air, the whole bit. And I'm doing my little spiel at the beginning of the show. And then I don't think he's here tonight, but I think it's Z Sun Dragon posted, what was that growl? And I said, I didn't even see it. Carrie Lynn saw the comments because I was slowly starting at the top. And she goes, yeah, I know. I was wondering what that was. And I go, what growl? And they go, you didn't hear that? I said, no, I didn't hear that. So I went back and listened to it. We've clipped it. I wouldn't call it a growl. What would you call it, Dave? Would you think it was a growl?
Like I said, it sounded like just some big dude, just like he just rolled over in bed and went, If you could hear it, I mean, I definitely did. And if those who watch in the past, you know how I'm always debunking this and that.
Mm-hmm.
But that was, it literally is like the first couple seconds of the video. And I heard it right under Lorilei's your voice. I believe it was your voice. And you heard it right underneath it. So it was underneath the voices. It wasn't like between the voices. It wasn't anything else. It was underneath. I even mentioned something about a dog. She said there was a dog in the room, but that wouldn't have picked it up that loud, even if it was the dog. Because it was
no, but I debunked this and how I debunked the dog. Because when they bring it up, I talk about it. No, I don't have my dog in here tonight. Usually I do, but she's been acting like a ding dong because before, sometimes I'll have my tripod set up just in case with my old computer, it would act up. So I would have it set up and I'd hop over to my phone. And one night it fell on her. It did not hurt her in any way, shape, or form. It just kind of freaked her out. So she acts kind of silly. So I told her Monday night, if you're going to be in here, you have to behave yourself. So you got to be settled on your pillow. If you're going to act silly, out you go. She was on her pillow closer to the door. She was all settled. She was not awake, like her head was down, because when they called it out a few minutes after it happened, she hadn't moved. She was still sound asleep on the floor. Now, the other thing is, I have not listened to the whole show. As much as I love podcasting, I don't like watching myself on camera. But I know sometimes we need to do that to pick up on tells that we do and what have you. But I did listen because I wasn't quite sure where it was, and I picked up a very quiet EVP before that at about a minute 25 seconds into the show. Did you hear that one as well, Dave?
That one I didn't hear. I mean, I didn't hear it because I wasn't looking for that one.
I sent you two. So one of them's 3. I'm going to play them for you guys. They're really short.
The first one's really short. I didn't hear that. It was your video number 2 that I heard.
Okay, that's the loud one. But the interesting thing, I didn't pick it up with headphones. I had it right up to my ear. I think it was sitting outside, and that's how I picked it up. It actually sounds almost like tapping, like nails, if you will, on the floor. And I know my dog was not moving around. And it almost sounds very similar to the next noise you hear that's very loud, but it's the same voice. But I'm also going to add something else. I had a toothache too. It's a lot better today, first day today, but it was pretty bad. It was hard to talk. I didn't say anything while I was on air, but if I was talking crazy, that's why. But I was very distracted, and I've never had this happen. Like, I literally could hear this. We're going to talk about what this was. And it was really pushy, like super, super pushy, like say this, say that. And I kept hearing it. I kind of compared it to, if you've ever looked after a bunch of children, especially moms, and you're on the phone, and then the little ones are there trying to get your attention while you're on the phone, and you're trying to hear the person on the phone, and the kids are going off. That's what it felt like, because the minute we ended the show, Carrie Lynn said to me, "Who the heck was that guy?" I go, "The one in spirit." She goes, "Yeah." I go, "Was he pushy or what?" So she picked up on him too. Now, I don't think he's here. I think he might have just been a passerby, because I'm going to add a little bit more to the story. I don't know if I shared it with you today or not, Dave. I might have. But my son kept my dog, because I had the grand dogs all week. They got back in town. We went out to camp, and he kept our dog, because my niece and nephew in town are afraid of large dogs. He had said to me, he dropped her off Monday night just before we did our show. And he had said to me, "I don't know what was going on with Emmy, Mom, but my God, I'm exhausted." Like, she wouldn't settle. And so I wasn't mean about it. I was kind of a smart aleck. I go, "What do you think I put up with for a whole week while you were gone?" Oh no, he dropped her off. He looked like the Walking Dead. He was so tired. And he started to tell me what she was doing. He said she was in the bedroom, and every couple of minutes, she almost sounded like she was screaming. She was going, he kept making this noise, and she'd start getting up and start running around and freaking out, like all night long, like would not settle. My dog doesn't do that. My dog has never made that noise. My son knows our dog has never made that noise. And I even said to him, "Is there any way you might have had maybe something at your house?" And he doesn't like to talk about these things. He doesn't like to deal with them. So he said no. So I don't know where this thing came from, whether it hitched a ride from home, from camp, or where it did. It was crazy. So all this stuff, then we had even crazier stuff the rest of the night. Like, it was just, I don't know if it was Energy Monday or what. How was your Monday? Was it crazy at all?
Oh my God, my Monday was terrible. So we won't even talk about that.
No, but that's everybody I've talked to. We'd love to hear in the chat. Did you guys have crazy things or unexplainable things, like including the police banging on my door at 12:15 at night, that they had a 911 call? You saw the video that didn't identify they were the police. And I could see it, my security camera asked me twice if I was okay, because they did have a 911 call across the street, because I seen it hours before. And then they all left, police, fire, whatever. So I thought, okay, well, whatever. Then they're all banging on doors saying they had a 911 call in the area, but they don't know where it came from. So I said afterwards, what a ridiculous thing, because people that answered, obviously they're okay. But the houses you went to that you knocked on and people didn't answer, how do you know if they weren't sleeping, they weren't home, or God forbid somebody was laying on the floor and needed help? So it was kind of useless.
I think I don't know. I haven't talked to enough people. So anybody who's on here right now, I never blame like when Lionsgate or full moons come up.
I don't either.
I don't set myself up for all that crap. Like some people go, "Oh, they're retrograde, it's killing me."
No, I don't do that either.
I don't play that game. I know it's there, and yeah, there's energies there. But this week, I think, I think it started like on Saturday. Mm-hmm. Saturday, every day was absolutely the worst, the freaky day. I mean, just freaky stuff. Nothing would go right. Everything, I mean, for me, everything was going wrong, but then it got better. It got better. But even my mom said that on Monday and Tuesday. My mom was totally out of it on Monday as well. She wouldn't do anything. And my dad didn't feel good on Monday. So I wonder if there was some kind of, we do have,
I don't know.
we're going to get to ghosties, you guys. We do have certain energies that do come from space and fly through the atmosphere. And I think maybe they affect us in some way.
We had a meteor shower. I know that because being out at the camp, there's no street lights or anything. We were watching it. I think it was Sunday night, and there were like shooting stars and whirls. And I think I even videotaped the sky because I seen some pretty strange stuff. I now believe it was probably just a meteor shower, but there had to be something energetically going.
You never know. I'm sure there was. I mean, I'll ask around and see how everybody's week went. Leah Passmore says, I hate hearing myself. I sound like a hillbilly.
Oh, I doubt it.
I know Leah, and I've spoken to Leah, and we both live not too far from each other, actually. So I think, Leah, we are both honorary hillbillies, is what we are. And at least that's what we tell people when we're drunk.
I just don't like.
I can't help it.
I have no problem going live. I have no problem speaking in front of people. Nothing like that. I just don't like to watch myself.
Me neither. I won't watch. I've done 3 commercials out of Charlotte, and I have some tapes. I used to do voiceovers when I first moved here, and I won't listen to any of it. And I won't listen. You know, when I make a TikTok, it's like murder to stare at myself for that minute and a half. I'm like, oh, stop, just go away.
See, like even when I'm on right now, if I was actually looking at you, I'd be looking here, but I have to look at the camera, so I can't even see myself. I don't know what it is. Like, I don't mind talking, but I don't want to watch myself on camera. I'm going to read. Hi, Nicole. And we already said hi to Leah. So she said, I lost a very important file Friday and realized it Monday, stressed all day, finally found it today. Well, I'm glad you did. In a strange place. I never misplace work things. And you said you were stressed all week. And then let's see, we got a few comments. So Leah said, my week has been absolutely terrible. Ha ha ha. Yes, we sound like cornbread. And Nicole says, I sound very Southern, LOL. Well, I sound like a Canadian. And you know what really bugs me, but I never say anything, is there are people that are American that live close to the Canadian border. They know how to use the word a. How Canadians would use it. People think they're being funny. And they
real quick, and I'm sorry, this is going to lead to ghosts one of these minutes.
Yeah, we'll get there.
When I, Lorilei, when I first, because I'm from Wisconsin, everybody, which is not far from Lorilei at all, Wisconsin.
No, but you would get it. You would get it. Like people that are in the northern.
I talk like that. I say stuff like talk, and I also say a. And when I
pop instead of soda, like we
we just say different things. And when I moved down, I remember when I was real young, and I went with my cousin and his friends to this amusement park to see the fireworks. And when the fireworks went off, I got real excited. I'm in this group of people who never met me before. I go, "Oh my gosh, that was cool, eh?" And they all looked at me, and they're going, "What? What did you just say?" I said, "That was cool." And
now
they're
I started saying y'all. Like I'm not even Southern, but most of my friends are.
I use y'all. Half my family's from the South, the other half is from the Midwest. So I'm just kind of screwed up. I don't even know.
I find like you live in Wisconsin, like Seraphine, my previous co-host. She originally grew up in Washington, close to British Columbia and all that area. So she knows there's a lot. It just seems a northern, and it's no disrespect to anybody. It's just they get it. And I think it's because we go across the border so much back and forth. So Nicole says, I sound very Southern. I'm going to read, let's see, Debbie, because I do want to express my condolences. She said, my light in my bedroom was blinking today. It's never done that before. My dad passed 1 week ago on Thursday, so it's probably him. She said, I didn't try to connect. You're still grieving, and deeply sorry for your loss, Debbie. I really am. Maybe it was your dad letting you know he's okay, and with your mom, your mom.
You know what, though, Debbie? The thing is that your mind went straight to that. And usually I always tell people, if your mind goes straight to that, it's what it was. It usually is always what it was.
It's hard though when you're grieving. Doesn't matter, regardless of what we do.
Yeah,
Mediumship, anything like that.
Zach sounds monotone.
I don't think you do. I've heard your voice messages before, Zach. I think we're the hardest on ourselves, is what it is.
Yeah.
He goes, I thought I had more personality in my voice. You do, Zach. You do.
Personality in your face, you don't need it in your voice.
He does have it in his voice. He does. He does. Okay, so shall we play these EVPs? They're short.
Yeah, you guys, let's play. Let's talk some ghosties. And remember, I'm not a ghost. I am alive. Okay.
Okay, what's going on here? I don't want that open there. I want my desktop. Oh, it's going to do it this way. Is that how we're going to do it tonight? I don't think that's how I want to do it. Hang on. We're going to try this again. Okay, screen share. That's what I want. Okay. Now I got to... Oh, you're going to make me open this. You monster, you. Hang on, guys. I'm still figuring this out, this computer. So I guess we're on films and TV. Okay, no, we want to pause this. Okay, hang on. I'm figuring this out. You guys got to have patience with me. Okay, I'm trying to... Oh, no, I can't make it big. I just realized because I won't be able to get back to StreamYard. Give me a sec.
Can you just play it?
It's not going to go small. Hang on. I'm still here. Okay, we're going to try this again. That's not going to work. Actually, it might have let me share it the other way. Let's see. I'll do it, guys. Give me 1 second. You know what? The heck with it. This is what we're going to do. We're going to open it. I'm not going to make it big. It doesn't matter how big it is anyways, because we just want to hear it. Okay, come on.
I'm just...
But also, sorry, guys. I went ahead of us here. Okay, go back. Okay, now I got it. I'll figure this out yet. Don't worry. Okay, why are you not showing me? You're supposed to be showing me. You got to be joking me. Oh, there we go. Now it finally showed. I have no idea why. Okay, let's see if it's going to share it. Okay, share. Let's see. It's going to happen eventually, guys. I promise. Okay. It's different than my other computer.
Oh, look at my hair.
Okay, we'll wait to see if it pops up. It should be up there soon, and then I'll play it. Is it showing?
It's showing us.
There it is. Finally. Okay, I'm not crazy. Okay, give me a sec here. I'll play it. Now, this is the quiet one. Really quiet.
But also, check it out.
No, you can't hear it on there, guys. I apologize. You cannot hear it. You have to go. It's 1 minute and 25 seconds into Monday Night's Angel Rock on YouTube. Because I couldn't hear it.
Purposeful life, but I also...
Oh, I heard that one, though. That one you don't need.
I couldn't even hear while we were talking.
Definitely don't need. Pardon?
I could even hear that while we were just talking when you played that real quickly.
Could you?
It's that loud.
Hang on. Okay, is it there? I don't know what the heck is. It doesn't matter what you're seeing anyways. You want to hear it. So give me a sec now while I play it. Hang on. Okay.
Purposeful life, but I also want to add, you guys have...
It was quiet, eh? As I say, eh?
Was that the second one?
That was the second one. I'll see if I can boost the audio.
It comes up right off the bat, you guys. So we gotta be real quiet when she presses play. So here we go.
Okay, I'm gonna press play right now, and it didn't play. Hang on.
Purposeful life, but I also want to add, you guys have... Purposeful life, but I also want to add, you guys have...
Were you able to hear it?
I hear that little breathy part at the end. It's not as good as when you're actually just playing it on your computer, but I still can hear it.
What it sounds like, it almost sounds like a man growing or groaning.
Yeah, it's just like not groaning. Yeah, and not groaning like spooky groans. Like, I mean, it was just like it was a groan or it was a sigh or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I thought it was
kind of like...
That's the second one you got on there. With ghosty stuff, you guys, you'd never want to come over to our houses. Just let me tell you that. When I recorded my session Wednesday with that other network, they said when they watched the videos back, she said, David, while you were talking and I was channeling that guy, she said, there was all kinds of stuff floating by you in the back. She said, and she goes, oh my gosh, we were all watching it. And I said, well, I said, a lemon pledge could, totally fix that problem. So I'm not sure. But she said, no, there was a lot. And I really don't have a dusty house, but dust is everywhere. But that particular, where my office is, I'm in my bedroom tonight because it's just too hot. I'm in a rocking chair instead of a swinger. So I'm a rocker instead of a swinger.
Well, there you go. Well, I'm going to tell you guys now, I got my favorite YouTubers I love to watch with paranormal. This ad kept popping up and popping up and popping up. So I know whenever something pops up, it means whether it's from spirit or whomever, I got to take a look at it. So I'm so glad I did today. There is a series. The new one's actually out tonight. I'm going to check it out after the show, episode 2. So episode 1, I saw it came out Sunday night, and it's by Omar, O-M-A-R Gosh, like Omar Gosh TV. And it's called Alone, Paranormal YouTuber Edition. And it takes, like, the first episode, Carrie Lynn had asked me, nobody's ever asked me, who's kind of your they said in paranormal, like famous paranormal investigators. She didn't say crush, because I'm too old to have a crush, but kind of fangirl. And I didn't know who. I just sort of said, I don't know, maybe Josh Foreman from Paranormal Nightmare TV. What do I find out on Tuesday? Same birthday as me. Anyways, he's in this Alone thing, and I just about died because he went to
everybody. Explain to everybody what that entails so they understand what Alone is about.
I am right now.
Oh, okay. I was just
So he was in there. They take 16 YouTubers, a lot of them from paranormal YouTube channels that are quite well known, or influencers that they may do a touch of the paranormal. So that's where I was going with this. Hey, Robin, nice to see you. Halfern Paranormal. So what it is Josh was the first one in this. Now, he went to, I forget where it was. It was in Indiana where he lives. Okay, they're in there locked down overnight, completely alone. Then there was twin paranormal Ryan. He was locked down by himself. Are y'all ready for this? If you're paranormal fans, the Sally house, all by himself. Nobody's there. You have to film it. You have to be locked down for overnight. Then Colin Browen, I think is the way you say his last name, from the Paranormal Files. He was locked down at Bushy, I forget what it's called, sanatorium. That place is huge, all by himself. And I've watched enough shows on there. People have actually gotten physically hurt, believe it or not. They have caught figures live, like nothing fake, like you're watching it and you see it live while they're doing it. And there was another girl that was an influencer, and she was really sweet. I don't think she did paranormal investigations. Her name was Mackenzie something, and she got locked down in this house. But before she got locked down, part of the film crew, one of the women was walking down the front steps, and all of a sudden she's on the ground, and they don't know what happened. She got pushed to the ground. This girl didn't want to stay in there, but they only give you bits and pieces because they're going to build a whole series out of it, obviously. It was so sweet. Apparently, at first, she was using a yes and no device, and she had asked, I guess there's a man that shows up with a bowler hat, and she asked him if he wanted to communicate, and he said no. So she figured it was broken, the yes-no device, because I guess it had been. Yeah. And then she said, well, I'd really just like to find more out about you. She was super sweet, super polite. All of them very sweet, very polite, and all told them they came there with respect. And he wanted to talk to her. She started using the ghost box, and it was really sweet, actually. But some of the things were quite spooky. But I don't know if I'd want to stay at the Sally house by myself overnight. Now, Robin gets in at the last minute. You got to go to YouTube. You're looking for Omar Gosh, Omargosh TV. First episode was out Sunday night. It's called Alone. Tonight, the second episode came out about an hour and a half ago. And then I think it's Thursdays and Sunday nights. So I believe tonight's show will show us the other 8 participants in this. So I loved it. I thought it was great. I didn't get to see enough, though, because I had to go to all 8 people in an hour.
I'm glad to hear that you said that. And that's true. I mean, there's spooky stuff that happens. I've had some very spooky stuff happens. But there are, people don't want the sweet moments, but I tell you, some of the sweet moments are really nice when they're
They
talking.
were. They
And
were.
it's absolutely beautiful. So I don't know why people don't want to show that. I was like, no, let's wait for the thing without the head to come through and choke her. Let's show that. No, it's like you don't have to. We know places are spooky and we know spooky things happen. Trust me, I know. I don't get spooked that easy, but there's a few times where I was like, I don't know the Sally house.
Oh my gosh. I was going, no, Ryan, you don't want to be locked down in there alone. No.
This, I would probably go in and be locked down alone. That I would do. No problem, I bet. No problem. The only problem I think I would have, because I know me, once I start an investigation, if I don't stay focused, Dave will get in his head and I could not walk the Sally house all over the place with the camera. I'd be like, nope, I stay in the foyer for the night. That's it. That's about as far as I could go. I'm not that gutsy.
There
And
was
I
another girl.
know nothing bad would happen, but.
Well, Chris Starr, I'd never seen her before. Really pretty girl, long blonde hair. She's been doing paranormal investigations for about 4 years, she said. But the cute thing was about it was she's like us, like a sensitive, like medium, psychic. She went to the Washoe Club, like all these really notoriously dark, heavy people getting scratched, people getting pushed, getting apparition, like really notorious places these people went to. So, and she was really cool, Dave. You would add a lot of respect for her because she knew someone was with her before she went there. And she was in the basement and she called, you would have loved her, Dave. You have to watch this actually, because she goes, yeah, there's somebody here that says that they're demonic, but I know you're not. I really know you're not. Like, I know you're trying to appear worse than what you really are. And then she was describing some of the energy and she kept saying, no, you can come closer. You can come closer. Like she wasn't scared or anything like that. And the thing I loved and why I respect some of the ones I first mentioned, like I follow the Paranormal Files, I follow Twin Paranormal, I follow, I'm talking about Paranormal Nightmare, the Foreman Brothers all the time, is because they're respectful. They go in there, they help people, especially I find the Foreman Brothers. They have follow-up care and they are always very respectful to spirit. And I have great respect for people that do that don't go in trying to, provocate and whatever. Mm-hmm.
I tell you, and don't you believe that that's true, Lorilei, that when you do go into a house, I mean, there are things that scare you, and I like to go for that little bit too, but I find the more respectful you are, the better stuff you get back. Because did you ever notice the people go in there holler and scream all the time? Well, the TV ones, they never get anything. Robin, that Sally house is in Kansas City. And
well, he wanted to know where did I watch a show on. So I said it's on YouTube. It's on Oh My Gosh, but Leah was talking about the Sally.
Going to. Thank you. It's in Kansas City, Atchison or something. Kansas City. It was built in about the mid 1800s, and one of the biggest. The story goes, there's a little girl who passed away in there. She was having surgery for appendicitis in the house. I think it was in the house, and she died during it. And then all kinds of other, I don't know all the other things that happened.
We'll go through some of the history. Okay.
Yes, you're right. Do you know more?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, cool.
I can't verify if it was built in the 1800s, but I know the people that made the Sally house.
I looked it up. Mid 18s.
Okay, so the family that made it quite famous, his name's Tony. I want to say his wife's name is Donna, and they lived in the house. And he had, like, I know he had revisited once with one show I was watching live, and he had blood drawn, like scratches and all kinds of things. Like, had really awful dark thoughts living in there that weren't him. They had to move. So they're the ones I think that have really made the house infamous. So they were talking about some elderly woman that died falling down the stairs. And there's been, obviously there's going to be some deaths in there. The house has been there since the 1800s. So I do know, I believe nobody lives there now, but it's sort of left standing as a monument. Oh God, I wish I could remember Tony's last name. I can see him. After what they went through in that house, and it was well documented what they went through. And there were many things there to try and rid the energy from this home. Because what the story is, yes, about this little girl, Sally, but there's a very dark energy supposedly attached that tries to pose as this little girl, Sally. And there have been numerous people that have gone there and have had many problems afterwards, a lot of nightmares, a whole bunch of stuff. So check it out, the Sally House. But I will tell you that I would say that every house, because I know Pete Monzingo, now he's not much of a paranormal investigator. Do you know who he is, Dave?
No. What's his name?
He's on TikTok. He's huge on TikTok. Pete Monzingo.
No.
He's really tall with red hair, and his whole family are little people. He does a lot of stuff with his mom, and he's got a great singing voice, and his apartment he lives in is right across from, oh God, what's the name of that hotel? It's haunted. It's notoriously haunted in downtown Los Angeles. And he's tried to fly drones through the windows and all kinds of stuff to investigate. So he's investigating one of the old Navy boats that are parked permanently. I forget what the name of it is. So he didn't have a whole heck of a lot happen. But like I said, I really enjoyed it. Like I was watching it today, and I'm going to be watching it after tonight because we'll get to see who the other 8 people. One of them I know is also Foreman brother Sean. And Sean is the biggest chicken you have ever seen in your life. He has good reason to be, but he is. So this should probably be quite the thing to watch when he's locked down without his brothers.
If do you guys want to hear a gruesome story?
Sure.
It's not too gruesome, but this is about the Sally House. There was something on here because I was just researching a little bit more real quick, and I found this. So let's see. The Sally House is reported to be haunted by the ghost of a young girl who died there. According to the legend, a child named Sally was brought to Dr. Finney's house by her mother for severe abdominal pain.
Mm-hmm.
He gave her, now, Dr. Finney is actually who owned the house. He brought Sally there, I believe. So Sally was brought to Dr. Finney's house by her mother with severe abdominal pain. He gave her anesthesia and began emergency surgery as he knew that Sally's appendix was about to rupture. However, he cut into her before the anesthesia kicked in. As he continued doing surgery, Sally was screaming because she felt the pain and bled out, which ended up killing her, which I don't buy that story at all. That story, I think, is actually, for me, I know something happened there and it's scary, but somebody's making it worse here because obviously if somebody was doing surgery on a little girl and she was screaming, he would realize that the anesthesia didn't kick in.
Oh, Howie, just so you know, you popped in late. We aren't on UFO Paranormal Radio tonight on YouTube. Our archive server got some kind of strike, so we're off for a week. So we are on UFO Gods and Extraterrestrials. If you need the link, let me know. I'll send it to you on Facebook because I just sent the link to Robin. To what we're talking about alone. Well, I don't know. You know what? Back in the 1800s.
I was just thinking about that. Maybe back in the 1800s.
I believe it. And I didn't hear, now the story. Okay, so what I can agree with you with, Dave, is I think we've got a little bit of telephone going on here, the game of telephone.
A little bit.
Because in the show, they didn't say, that makes more sense to me, that she might have bled out, but what they said was the pain was so excruciating for this little girl that she passed away during the surgery because of it.
Yeah, that's what it says in there too. Although I have to say, there is a game of telephone, I'm sure, at the Sally House, but I do have to say it has the most credible evidence that's coming out of that house. So there's something going on.
Okay, so Colin Browen, who I mentioned from the Paranormal Files, he investigates with his family, sometimes his wife, sometimes his brother-in-law, usually with his dad, and sometimes his mom will come along. And his dad used to be an ophthalmologist. His name is Jeff, but everybody calls him Papa Spooks. He's super cool. So anyways, I know that his mom and dad, Mary and Jeff, went with him and his wife, Courtney, to the Sally House. And what I love about, I don't agree with everything the way Colin does it. He's younger and he's up and coming, but he puts so much work in. Like this guy puts a 2 to 3 hour documentary in every week about the places he investigates, is that they were expecting all this stuff to happen and they didn't have really a lot. Like they felt it was more kind of psychological, the problems they were having with it. But that's what I like about his channel. He's vowed that if we don't get anything, We don't get anything, and we're not going to fake it. You guys are going to see what we have to do and what we go through. And if there's nothing there, that we're not making something up for you guys. I'm going to read this description because you guys see what you think, because this is all things ghosty. So what it says, episode 1, and I don't think it'll ruin it for anybody. Watch 16 YouTubers try to survive the night in 16 different haunted places, locked alone at night, to not only capture real paranormal evidence and ghosts caught on camera, but also document how they react under the circumstances of being in complete solitude, and I will add darkness. And where was I here? With only spirits present. Who will be able to take it and who will have to give in to the scares? Oh, yeah, there is a castle in the first episode. It says from haunted castles, abandoned prisons, and amusement parks to ghost towns and haunted houses. This new series has it all. So I'll tell you that you guys can see who you know on the series. It says, featuring an all-star cast of 16 well-known influencers in order of appearance. Josh Foreman brothers from Paranormal Nightmare, Twin Paranormal, that's Ryan, Omar Gosh TV, so it's Omar who started this series and is the one putting it out. He's in the castle. Colin Browen is from Paranormal Files. Mackenzie Marie, that was the girl I told you it was really sweet. She was having that conversation. She's not really a paranormal investigator, and she has kind of green hair in the front and black in the back, but she's so sweet. Then it says Pete Monzingo. I'm sure if you don't know him by the name, you guys, you would know him when you've seen him. If you've ever been on YouTube or TikTok and even Instagram or short reels, you will have seen him. He's super tall, red hair. He's usually a little bit of comedy, and he always does videos with his mom, who's his whole family are little people except him. Some of these people I didn't know. Chris Starr, that's the girl, that's the medium that was at the Washoe Club. I kind of liked her energy. She was really calm, and I'm going to start to follow her, see what she puts out.
She's out, yeah. What's her name? Let me know. I'll check her out too.
Okay, her name is Chris, as in Kris, and then Star, Star. I liked her energy in the show. I subscribed to her channel. CJ Faison, I wasn't impressed with him. He was in the first episode. I'm not giving anything away, guys, but I guess he used to be a NASCAR driver, and now he's a YouTuber. He's done a few investigations. He was kind of getting a little bit pushy with the spirits there to get it. Oh, thanks, Ed. Or Ed Howie. See, even I'm not paying attention. He says he's going to share us to the travelers. Thank you.
People always sharing us to travelers someplace.
So he wasn't... I wasn't real impressed with him. But then I don't know these ones, and the next one's coming up. Jasko or Yasko, no idea. Kelsey Davies, no idea. Exploring with Josh, I do know. He's a paranormal investigator, young guy. Seth Borden, don't know. The Fam, I have no idea who that is. Mo Sargi or Sargi, nope. Elijah Wireman, no idea any of these people. Sean Foreman, of the Foreman brothers, A Paranormal Nightmare. Now, Sean Foreman will be very, very entertaining to watch in a notoriously haunted house, because he is the biggest scaredy cat you've ever seen, but he has good reason when you know his history.
Oh, yeah. Well, everybody should be a bit scared. I mean, it wouldn't be normal.
Oh, no. You have to watch Paranormal Nightmare TV on Friday night.
I don't know any of those people, but there isn't one channel where I've liked every one. Although I have to say that Phase of the Moon, those guys, what is that? Third Phase of the Moon?
Yep.
I like watching those guys. I like their stuff. I like how they present it. But I'm going to check out that medium and that girl who talked nice to people, because I really do.
They all did, though. Ryan. Okay, this is Ryan. They're the only twins that investigate. I don't know. Okay, the only twins that investigate together. They're identical twins. They got tattoos all over their face. They look like they're super rough and tumble guys. They're not. He is the sweetest.
I don't think that's what you're showing us.
Pardon?
Where did you just show us on your camera?
That's Ryan from Twin Paranormal. He's one of the guys in the
There we go.
episode.
Now that you brought it up, it looked like a girl be in the background or something. Okay, I see his tattoos and everything now. Gotcha.
He is. Hey, Debbie, thanks for dropping in. She says I got to go make dinner, but try to come back later. We'd love to have you back. No, I watch him, and you know what? I like him because but they ask them too when they interview them, what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses? And he specifically talked. I didn't know his history, that him and his brother have been living on the streets since they were in 8th grade, and what they've become now. But he said one of my assets is politeness and being polite to people, and he is. And every single one of them went in there practically saying, "I come here with respect." And I thought, wow, how nice to see.
Yeah, right. What a breath of fresh air, isn't it? My mom, I tell you, my mom used to watch, and I'm not ranking on the show because I don't know the guys personally. But my mom, for the longest, she would watch the show Ghost Brothers when it was out. And and then she would whine about it. She's like, that's the stupidest damn show. They never find anything. And she's
welcome to the world of the paranormal when it's real.
She goes, all they do is run around and scream.
Oh, screaming, no.
Yeah, I said, whenever you watch a show and they run around and scream and go, what was that? What was that? What was that for a half hour? It ain't a real show. Yeah. No, I think the best shows out there, the best shows out there, I think, aren't on TV. They're on YouTube.
Or that's why I watch YouTube ones, because a lot of them go live too. So they have a little bit more validity in my mind when it's live.
They do.
Mm-hmm. And they're moving around and they haven't got all this stuff set up. They're kind of bringing the equipment with them.
I got to find it. I watched one the other day and I got to find it for you so I can tell you, because I'd never heard of the guys before. And I got on there and it was, at first, when it first came out, their intro, I thought, oh no. Because of the intro, the way they were doing it, like a TV intro. But when they started going,
excuse me,
he was really quite interesting. I enjoyed watching them. I enjoyed investigating alongside of them because he would say, I thought I heard something. He'd go there to investigate it and go, nope, it was this. And then he would walk back and go, and he was just honest, which he would say, well, I don't know what that sound was. And I said, thank you. I love that because I don't know what it could be either. But it was interesting to watch him. He was really good. He spoke up a couple times, but it wasn't anything abrasive. But I enjoyed him and the other guy he was with too. And they would go separate and take their cameras back and forth, which I liked too. So there's a lot of shows like that. I don't care if they
excuse me.
You know what? If a show doesn't catch anything, that doesn't bother me. I'd rather let them say, hey, we didn't get anything. Okay, that's totally cool. I enjoy coming along with you, But it's when they try to find something because for the sake of the show.
Okay, so the shows that I mentioned that I watched, another one I don't mind, but more often than not, they don't find stuff. And I love the way they treat the spirits, but it's not a lot, is Paranormal Quest. And there's such nice guys.
I think I heard of Paranormal Quest.
Yeah, they're on, usually they put out a show. So it's usually Paranormal Nightmare puts one out on YouTube on Friday nights. Paranormal Quest puts one out Sunday nights. And they're all friends with each other too. They all speak very highly of one another. And then Colin Brown Paranormal Files usually puts one out Monday night. And Sundays it's Twin Paranormal. So there's sometimes, they don't catch anything. That's why I like it. And I like that they're respectful and they try to debunk stuff and they just don't go, oh my God, it was a demon.
What people don't understand is that, you remember Jessica, we won't say any names, but me and Jessica a long time ago, we were asked by, they were going to shoot another TV show. And this one was going to be in New Orleans. It was a ghost show. I got to remember the name of the show. But they've done a couple of them. And they were going to do another show where they have like the skeptic, the investigator, the paranormal one, and the medium. Well, they were going to do 2 mediums. They were going to do us. And when we did the audition, and tell you guys, just so you know how it goes in the background, audition and they sat and they talked to us about stuff. And right away they came on and they go, so you guys get mediums, are you psychic? And I'm like, okay, what a stupid question. But I'm like, yeah. And he's like, oh, can you tell me what we're looking at in front of me? And I said, probably. And I'm just sitting there. I'm like, so you want me to remote view and tell you what's in front of you? And he goes, well, I don't know how you do it. And I said, yeah. And I said, sure. And as we're talking, and I said, and we were talking about the woman who was there too. He said, by the way, you're pregnant, correct? And they both look at each other. How'd you know? Okay, one, you're auditioning psychics, dummy. And then I went and I told him, I said, there's the ocean and it looks like a plant and it's green and it's all over like this. And there's a picture next to it and there's like 4 shelves in back. So they both look at each other again and he turns the camera around and there's the green plant and it was next to a picture of the ocean and all that. And I missed the shelf. I said 4, there were 3. And so he turns it back around and he goes, so you guys are really mediums? I'm like, yeah. Yeah, and that's what happened that show. We were actual mediums. I think they wanted a stupid medium who was going to tell them whatever. Well, anyway, we didn't get the part. But I did watch the show about 8 months later when it came out. It was god awful. Oh my God, it was the worst show.
Everything happens for a reason.
I know.
Previous host on our network, and he had an opportunity, he had an idea for a show, and it was given. So he asked me to go to the meeting, and another person on the network, I won't say their name because I didn't ask for it, but we didn't know each other was going. And it was with Netflix, but it was during the last, we'll say 3 years. And we were in Canada and this person was in the US. So we couldn't cross the border to film. And it was a very interesting lockdown, like not just for one day, like a month in the same place, and bringing mediums and psychics and investigators and being locked down and documenting what we find in the communication and the whole bit. So it was I guess maybe it wasn't meant to be. I don't know, but there was no way we could get over the.
I suppose we should be happy. I suppose we should be happy sometimes when things don't work out, Lorilei.
Just like yourself, like you saw that show, right? Like you're like, thank God we weren't associated with it.
Oh, thank goodness. Oh, I do gotta tell you something. This is more ghosty stuff because that's what we're gonna keep on topic until you guys change it on us.
Can we read Leah's comment, or you got something you want to
wait, let me tell my quick story. Then then you go to the combat. So last night, which is synchronistic, and I didn't tell you today. I was waiting to come on the show, and I was like, okay, yeah, that's right. So last night I had a dream, and I dreamed I was in my new house, wherever that was. But it was on the mountains. It's like the third time I've dreamed of this exact same house. So I hope to God that's the house because it's beautiful. But anyway, so I'm in the house, and I remember there was a guest staying over, and she ran out of the guest bedroom, and she screamed. She goes, "What's that?" And I said, "Oh, are you seeing shadows?" And she says, yes. And all of a sudden, that shadow kept showing up in my dream and all that. And I remember me saying to her, oh, that's Dobby. He doesn't want to hurt you. He just hangs out here. And I don't know why I was dreaming. It was the weirdest thing. And it was a dream, but I'm like, I'm already dreaming that my future house is haunted. But I could see, and I know why that person would have been afraid, because I remember in the dream I had said, all right, he said he's not going to bother you anymore. Did you want to leave or do you want to stay here? And she said, no, if he's not going to hurt anybody, I'll go back to my bedroom. And all of a sudden, after she said that, we hear the bedroom door slam. And then she stopped again. She goes, all right, I thought you were kidding. I remember. And then we both walked in the room, and there was Dobie in the corner, just this big shadow. And even I, in my dream, went, that was almost kind of rude. It wasn't scary, but it was like, it was big. It was there. But I dreamt about that, and it was like the longest dream. And I'm like, what does this mean? But
well, only you will know. I have many ideas. Sometimes I'll do dream interpretation with people.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was a fun dream, but
you are the one that knows the best. Anybody is. I'm going to read Leah's comment as I think about this, but I want to reference Nicole's right after. So Leah says, I went to the old Stonewall Jackson Reform School in Concord quite a few years ago. I've seen an orb in real time. I almost needed new undies. I cannot handle anything like that. Well, LOL, but orbs aren't always bad. I just want to read Nicole's and then we'll go back to that. So Nicole says, I watched that TV show about the month lockdown with the paranormal investigation. Yes, the show was a given. The show was a given. It was going forward. This was just a formality. But unfortunately, because we were in Canada, we weren't able to be part of it. But anyways, you were going to say something about Leah's.
You'd be like, they're like, you can't be in the show, eh?
Well, actually, they said Netflix had just opened an office in Canada, and they never don't keep somebody's information. So we'll see. Maybe they'll call
Maybe
us.
I'm calling for something else. I'm glad you elaborated on that because I stopped reading. Lorilei was reading it, and I stopped reading with her when you said, I went to the old Stonewall Jackson Reform School in Concord quite a few years ago, and I thought, okay, where are you going with this? Why were you in a reform school?
But orbs aren't bad always. It just shows you there's energy there, if you see it with your own eyes.
No, I thought she was saying, I didn't know
that she was part of, I get what you're saying.
And I was like, what? Okay. I would think now, as far as my professional opinion about stuff like that, there are certain places where energies are really strong. It's like, I bet you could go into any school after it's closed down and you'll get activity. Not because the kids might be ghosts there, but there's going to be a lot of residual stuff in schools or places where old hospices that shut down, old hospitals that shut down. They seem to gather up energy of something, or a lot of things happen. So I think a lot of these places are imprinted.
Well, I think there's still some intelligent stuff too, depending on what happened there.
You're going to find
with residual, because like especially sanatoriums or asylums. Now, not all of them are negative because it sounds like they're all painted with the same brush. But if there is, say, a lot of mistreatment or misuse or ABUSE, since we're on YouTube, things like that, then yeah, I think you're going to see some stuff. But I agree with you, Dave, because everything's energy, as you know, but it can only be transferred from one place to another. But I think the land really hangs on to energy, regardless whether it's positive or it's negative. It just soaks it in. Would you agree?
You wonder if some of these buildings, I never really, well, I'm just thinking about this now, so we're probably going to end up going down that rabbit hole after this. I'll probably be doing research. If a structured building, dependent upon what it's built, like people go, why are really, really old 1800s houses always built? If you think about it, a lot of those houses aren't built with any steel or anything like that. It's all wood. It's all stuff like that. It's all organic things that can maybe collect energy. So maybe if something happened in the house, that energy is not only within the house, but it's like in the house. I mean, the energy in the wood and everything else, it absorbs, because trees you can stand next to a tree and feel its energy. And a tree can feel your energy. So I don't see why it wouldn't gather it up in houses back then. So maybe that's an explanation next time somebody asks me, how come it's only the really old houses that are haunted? Which isn't true. It doesn't matter what the house is, it's what happened. But maybe they hold on to that energy somehow.
Oh, I think that they do. And like, for example, with what we started the show with, I was talking about the crazy energy and what happened here. And after the show on Monday night, what I kept hearing from spirit is blast the house with light. So I did, with light, with love. I grounded the whole earth, the house, myself, everybody in it, right? And it settled. I think it was just something passing through. We do get passers-by and passers through. Now, Nicole says, I agree. I am a teacher, and when the building gets quiet and everyone is gone, it gets creepy when you are alone. And I have to agree with you, but sometimes I think our minds can play tricks on us, right? Like it's scary when buildings creak and tapping, but where, like, I can tell you, like, especially for some reason in Japan, I don't know if you guys have seen these or not, but I know, again, I'm going to go back to Nuke's Top 5, people sending in videos of their investigations. There's some pretty strange apparitions and things that seem to be very intelligent, usually with a tragic story of it'll be a student that lost their life. And the way I always look at it is like, I don't think we're never really truly trapped. You and I have talked about this, Dave, before on air, off air, we agree. But maybe they were the happiest there. Like maybe that's why they choose to be there as well, right?
It could be they were very happy there. I would say there's reasons. I guess there's reasons for ghosts and spirits. Like if you're very happy, you might have an attachment there. Like when I was in that one asylum, but he said that old lady was trapped in there and they left her dolls. It's like she said she was in 2 places. She visits there. She wanted to be part of it, so she would show up. And then there's ones that, like you said, they might just like the place. They have an attachment to it. Why not? I suppose there's all different reasons. We don't know one. And I guess I tell you, if I go before the rest of you guys, I will come haunt you and I'll tell you why I'm there. And you can I don't know. I'm bored already. So who knows?
I think we'll be bored. So I had mentioned the Washoe Club. So I'm going to read. I think hopefully I found the haunted one. Let's see if I found. It says the Washoe Club and Haunted Museum. So that was one of the ones in this episode. We'll talk. If you guys got some haunted locations you want to talk about or whatever too, please put them in the chat. We could talk about them. What do you think of them? What did you experience there? Why did you think it was haunted? Was it positive? Was it negative? You got anything else you want to add to that too, Dave? Maybe they want to share?
Yeah, share anything you want to know about hauntings, anything you want to know about ghosts. We don't know everything there is to know about ghosts, but we'll tell you what we know if we know it.
Okay, so the Washoe Club is a historic saloon with a seriously haunted past and present. This towering brick building lies in the heart of Virginia City's bustling C Street and is believed to be one of the most haunted locations in the West. Of all the places in Virginia City said to have had paranormal activity, and they put in brackets, trust us, there are a lot. It says the Washoe Club in Virginia City easily takes the gold. The property has been repeatedly featured on ghost hunting television shows like the Travel Channel's Ghost Adventures, A&E's Ghost Hunters. A legitimately creepy crypt and museum dedicated to the mystery of the building lends serious credibility to the ghostly claims connected to the property. And this is whether you're coming for a daily ghost tour, an overnight paranormal investigation, or just a cold one at the historic bar. It says they're talking about the liquids. It says drinks flow easily. And it says you can hear ghost stories. And then there's the Millionaires Club they're talking about as well. So again, most of these places that are notorious, like I did not know that about the Sally House, that it had been built in the 1800s till you said that, Dave.
I didn't know it either. When I was reading, I was like, oh, no wonder. Yeah.
But I think, go ahead. Sorry, Dave.
No. I was talking about here. There's like pubs down here that are haunted that aren't far from me. But you want to know what? There's an Irish pub down there. And I wanted to go to it so bad. And I was like, because it says that it's haunted. And this a couple of years back, I had called them up and I said, hey, can me and a friend there come and do an investigation of the place? Right. And they started talking about it. I said, well, I'm a medium and this. And as soon as I said that, they said no.
I know why.
Uh-huh.
Why? I know why.
What do you think?
Because I'm sure you've run into this too, where people seem to think that when there's notoriously haunted places and you have mediums that come there, it's like they're possessively hanging on to the spirits that are there. They're so worried you're going to cross them over and then there's not going to be a haunting anymore. Is that what you were thinking? Or
I think it's either because they didn't want me, which I wouldn't have, or they were embellishing quite a bit on that.
I knew that was the other part, or they were embellishing. But either way,
those are the two I thought about as well. Those are the two that went through my head.
But either way, if you walk into a place, right, and somebody on the other side feels like they're trapped and they really want to leave, and I know in good faith, and I'm sure you're going to say the same thing, I don't care what someone has told me. I'm going to assist them if they are asking for help and they really want to cross over, but they just need a little bit of help. I'm not going to say, no, I can't do it because you got to stay here because you got to haunt the place. They're going to lose their business.
No, the money here is too important to them. No, if that ever happened, and then check private, if that ever happened, I think that I would do the same thing you did. If somebody said, if a spirit would happen to say, I don't know how to go over there. I don't know what to do, or this had felt like that. I would literally say, okay, this is what, look for this, look for that, da, 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 and try to call in somebody to help them. I would. But that's if they ask, because I also have that saying, not without being asked. If they asked, then I would be okay with it. But I think otherwise, like with that place, the same thing. If a spirit's going to say I want to go, I'm going to tell the people, I'm sorry. I have had people ask me, hey, if we tell the spirit it's okay for them to stay, do you think they will? Absolutely.
Well, they will, but they're not going to stay there and be trapped there. They can go be in two places or many places at the same time. Yeah.
I always tell people, oh, there's something in my house. First thing I tell people is say hi. They're like, what? I'm like, say hi. Say hi. I don't mind you being here, but
that's why it was so cute with that girl on this show on YouTube, because she used the yes, no, and then he said yes, he would communicate. So she turns the ghost box on, because they tell you what equipment they use as well too in the comment or in the write-up. And the first thing that comes through, it goes, hi. And so she goes, hi. And then it comes through again and he goes, hi. And she goes, hi, how are you? Oh, I'm getting goosebumps. It was just so sweet. Like, I just loved it.
I like stuff like that. People get so, well, I suppose it depends on where you are. They get so serious. And I can't say that I haven't been serious.
I told the woman, okay, this is the story of the place she was in. Somebody may recognize it. I can't remember the name. So this Mackenzie, like I said, she's not much of a paranormal investigator. She's more of just sort of an influencer, but she's done a few investigations. So as she's going to get locked down, there were 3 people there. One of the women that was it was only like 3 or 4 stairs. All of a sudden, she's on the ground at the bottom of the stairs and go, oh my gosh, are you okay? And she goes, I didn't fall. Something pushed me. And like she swore she did. So Mackenzie wasn't really scared. She goes, well, maybe we got that out of the way. But I guess the story behind it was built by this wealthy gentleman and his first wife died. And so he corresponded with some woman. I forget what her name is. Oh God, it'll come to me. I think Helen. And they were corresponding back and forth. And he said, I'll marry you on the spot if you come here. And he built her this massive house as a wedding gift. But he said, only if you don't have red hair. Apparently red hair was bad luck. She goes, oh, you got nothing to worry about. I don't have red hair. So apparently she gets off the train. She's got a bonnet on. They get married on the spot off the train. After they're married, she takes her bonnet off. Flaming red hair. So well, apparently he did. He still stayed with her. Apparently he had a lot of bad luck. Can't blame it on the red hair. But, if you believe something strong enough, maybe you believe red hair brings you bad luck. I don't know.
Well, that's true. If you have certain things you need to do. I used to have certain rituals I used to do in my house before I did meditations and stuff. I always did until I found myself one day forgot.
And it's still
things still went. I don't even need this. I just saved myself like 20 minutes, so I didn't mind that at all.
What I teach people who need rituals, like once you've got it down pat, is I tell them, what you can do? You could just assign a word to it. And I always use a crazy word like pickle. So every time you're getting ready, you want to do your ritual, you could just say pickle in your mind's eye, and just the whole thing just takes care of itself, and then just jump right into it. Like for people that really need a ritual.
Yep. I do that. I do that now before. There's certain stuff before I do like a gallery reading with a lot of people, I do a little something all the time before I go out. But otherwise, like for regular readings, I do the same thing. I sit here. It's about 10 seconds. I just say, I'm one with the spirit world. The spirit world's one with me. I'm ready, guys. And then I just go on. So. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's about, right? I always say, what we perceive becomes what we believe, and it becomes our reality. That came from spirit.
Absolutely. I run right back.
Okay, go ahead. So Zach says, what's up with that dude and not liking red hair? I find redheaded women to be very attractive. Well, that's very nice of you. My mother is a redhead, green eyes. And then Leah says, well, wait till Dave comes back. Do you pick up too many different energies at once at a gallery reading? I can't say that I've been like in a room full of people. David will be able to give you more feedback on that. Have I done it depends what you classify as a gallery reading. Like I've always been taught a gallery reading that you sort of pick up on energy of somebody that's there. You put out the reading and you give the message and describe who is there and what have you. And either someone claims it or they don't. But David will tell you. So I was just telling them what I understand to be a gallery reading, but I know you have done many more than me. I've usually done them online, so it's not a problem energetically for me, like live. So Dave, Leah's question again is, do you
absolutely? It is one of my favorite things in the world to do. I think it's kind of nerve wracking, but it goes away real quick. Gallery reading is basically 5, 10, 20, 50, 100 people, who's ever there. Usually mine are, most are usually like 50 to 75 people, and I've done for those. And it's, when I walk out, I basically walk out, and how it goes for me is, I always bring spirit with me. I'm getting started. I do my thing before I walk out, and I start talking to people, introducing them. I explain what I do, how I do it, and this and that. As soon as I start explaining, it's like almost like a signal to these guys that, okay, he's ready. And then how it happens for me, and it's really strange. If you're a medium, Lorilei will understand this. Some people might not, but I'll be talking to people, and then all of a sudden, someone will catch my eye. It'll be like an impulse. It's an impulse you just can't control at this moment. It's like, I have to go to you. And then I'll just walk towards that person. I'll just say, by the way, I got blah, blah, blah. I feel that. Does that make sense to you? And a lot of times either they'll say yes or the person behind them will say yes or something. It's in that vicinity. They kind of direct me. And it's funny. Is years ago, I used to do stand-up. So I'm used to being on a stage. And I've been on a stage pretty much all my life. Now, when I did stand-up, I thought that was worse because I had to write my material down, say the whole thing every time, and then go out and perform it and be good. The weird thing about being a medium doing this is we don't have material. I'm just going to walk out on the stage and just hope to God that there's somebody with me. And they are every time. I've never
They always are. Like when I've done it, I haven't done it in a long time, but a gallery reading, I don't do them very often. I think most of them, I was kind of pushing me out of my comfort zone when we were in the group that we shall now remain nameless, taking certain with mentors, and you'd have a whole group of people online with you, and spirit would come through. You would describe who you saw, who you felt, and you'd put it out there and somebody would sort of claim it. But that is the way to do it with a group of people. Yes, absolutely. That's why I left it up to you, because I have never done it physically in front of people. I've done it online. On Zoom, on ones like you said, I do it the exact same way. I don't really get pulled towards somebody's picture, but it all comes in at once. It's funny. It does. And then so you just put it out there, and I've had people say nobody claims, but then and you trust that spirit knows who's going to be watching the replay or will eventually see this. And it's never not failed. Like somebody will step up and say, oh, that's so-and-so. I know exactly who that is. Or Well, I told you about the one reading that I did at that one place in the gallery reading, and I kept going to this guy, and he kept saying no. He kept saying, no, I'm just here. And then afterwards, he tells me that, oh, yeah, you're really good. That was him. I just didn't feel like talking. I'm like, really, you son of a bee. But like, why? Like, seriously? I get it. I get it. I mean, I wasn't friendly on him, but I always tell people, if you pay for a ticket to go for a gallery reading, for me, the medium, that is a yes. Yeah. That is a yes. That's why even when, like I have on my website, I have this thing you can get where you can ask 2-second questions in the angel reading. And it says to the angel reading, you don't have to ask a question. All you have to write down is whatever I need to know. Once you do that, and I know it sounds silly,
but it gives permission. It gives me permission. I will never look at somebody's energy just for the sake of looking at their energy.
Never.
There's got to be a reason behind it. Otherwise, it's none of
Could
my
you? Yes. Will you? No. That's what I always say. It's
That's,
like walking
that's
in and
yeah.
trying every door until one is open, and you walk in and you help yourself, you make yourself at home, and you steal. That's how I feel about going into somebody's energy without their permission.
Exactly. I'm the same exact way. I can't do it. I always tell people they want to know about somebody. I said, you know what? I can look at the energy situation. That's fine. I can look at the situation, the
Or
energy.
what part you played in it to
Exactly.
coming to for the reading. And I will have people, and I know you've had it too, Dave, and other people that do this, that will say, well, my boyfriend and I just broke up and I want to know all about the girl that he's with and what he's doing about. So I will tell them right up front. And we've talked about this off air. Both of us will say, you know what, could we? Yes. Will we? No. We're obviously not the right person for you. So, and I've right up front with them.
Leah, who's on here now, she's a little different because Leah, I've done a lot of readings for, and I know the family just by the energy. So sometimes I will say, yes, that person is da da da.
Yeah, but there's a familiarity. And
and we do it a certain way. But yeah, I don't like to just. That's probably my number one pet peeve when somebody emails me or private messages me out of nowhere and says, I just met this new person. What do you feel? And I'm like, I feel you're gonna break up because you shouldn't be doing that. You should go find out yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's
it's kind of like when you were asking about your dream earlier, and you know as well as I do, as anybody does. Yes, we could. Hi, Sandra Sharp. She says, I'm here now. Hi, everyone. No, I always tell people the best person to tell you what your dream is about is you. Now, could we figure out a few things about the shadow that showed up and whatever, if we really analyzed it and broke it down and got whatever spirit was given? Yes, we could. But the best person it means the most is to the person who had the dream.
I think my dream was for fun. I really do, except for the fact, like I said, I see that same house in different scenarios and situations.
I highlighted Leah's comment because I think it's important. She's talking about David, and she says, you've never been unethical about anything. I have to agree with you too, Leah. David is not. He's very ethical, and I try to do the same as well, but he definitely is very mindful.
I know for myself, I've passed some of my boundaries before, but I'm very careful about, because like Lorilei says, I absolutely agree. It is literally like just walking into somebody's house and making yourself at home, and when nobody told you to do that, and that's just not fair to the other person, even though it's not hurting them. I think it more bugs me.
I think we have to have boundaries and be very firm about them with what we do, because could you? Yes, we could, but would we? No.
Yeah, so. When we were in the group that shall not be named,
Voldemort.
Just so you guys know a backstory, where me and Lorilei actually met or knew each other. It was a private group we were both in that taught spiritual stuff, and anyway. It's a mess. But anyway, yeah, people would constantly, because I do some lives in the group, and people would just message me and go, I've got a message Spirit said to give to you. I'm like, no, you don't. They're like, what? I'm like, no, you don't. Why? Like, one, I could hear the damn message myself. Trust me. And these are just random people. They were like new people practicing. And I would tell them straight off the bat, you do not just message someone. And then the messages, some of them would just give me without asking me. They would just write down the message.
I've had people do that, especially
like awful messages. Yeah. One was, you have to be careful. Your brother's in trouble and all this other stuff. And I'm like, my brother died, you dummy. He's like, he's not in trouble. Oh, they just leave all kinds of weird stuff. And it got to one person.
Well, I had one girl when we first started with the paranormal years ago, and she went and held a reading and a seance and all this stuff in our all about our situation. I never asked her to. I didn't know her really from a hole in the ground. Then I've had other people, do stuff like that or send unsolicited messages all the time and what have you. And that's why Dave and I always make a point of telling people we would never write you and solicit you for a reading. Now, again, I'm not judging people. I always tell people it's not my job to judge, but just for ourselves, we would never do that.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, we never do that. If you ever get a private message from us saying, "Hey, your energy felt this way. I need to give you a reading," that's not us. One, we don't start out like that.
No.
We
but it's all kinds of people to make the world go around, and it's the same thing like with the paranormal, like we were talking, is when people fake stuff. All it does, it's already so questionable because it's not something you can always get tangible proof. You wanted me to highlight that question or not? The last one.
Oh, Leah passed. Okay, just so everybody knows, because I gave.
We're going to say it, Dave. Yeah, so tell people.
I'm not going to tell the whole story, but my TikTok got taken away on Sunday. Not by TikTok. It wasn't banned by TikTok. It was scammed by somebody. They got
held in a scam.
It's being held, and I'm not paying any money for it. It's like I'm not paying rent. I don't negotiate with terrorists. Anyway, so no, I decided I just started a new one. So I had 94 plus K followers, and now I have like 30.
The more you spread it around and you share,
people are coming back already. So my new TikTok is also called now the Spirit Experience. So it'll say the Spirit Experience. It'll say David Hanzel Medium, not Medium David Hanzel, David Hanzel Medium. So I had to reverse that and get used to it. And I started posting on it already. So please go check that out. Follow me and all this other fun stuff.
You know what? I think people are going to find you, Dave, and I think they're going to find you quickly because they're going to be looking for you. My suggestion, if I remember correctly, was use a different picture, because what happened was, guys, I didn't listen to Dave's message. I have so many messages to get back to. I just got back on social media today. That's Kim says, Lawful Holtz, you'll be at 1,000 in no time, and I know we will be. Sandra says, oh, hi, Jonathan, JK Paranormal. We didn't see all you guys here. Welcome. And Sandra said, my phone's acting up. I couldn't hear anything until now. Oh, no, Sandra. That's what I said, you guys, to him. I said, because I was looking for a Monday night, because I always tag him on TikTok for the Angel Rock. I'm like, what the heck's going on here? There's all these pictures of Dave and all these names, and I know it's not his profile. And then I listened to his message. So I said, you know what? You got all these people posers. I said, just use a different picture and a different everything. And I said, people will be looking for you. They'll find you, Dave. They will.
Do you want to hear something? You guys want to update on something? So this person who did this, who's like this tech, was pulling my leg and trying to get this money back from me. But I kept him on here, and he's never, ever blocked me. And this is his final thing. Anyway, I'm going to read this to you guys. Listen to this. So he offered to pay half of it from his paycheck. And anyway, I laughed. And I'm like, oh, whatever. Okay, but then I said, you have demonstrated nothing to make me trust you. And by the way, I wouldn't laugh because he did a LOL when I mentioned what I would do or say. And that's not good. I said, no, I'm sorry. There is no money coming from me until it is legally reinstated. I've got a show to do in a bit, so I have to go now. That was my final thing I was ever going to say to him. And he wrote back now, I'll activate it before you get back. That's my word. Hope I'm getting my refund once you get back. All done and fixed, and account have been successfully activated. Are you there? And then he tried to call me over and over.
Oh.
So what I might do, I've given this guy a chance. Like I said, there's something. No, they're not foreign. They actually live in New York. The thing is,
they're not foreign.
Actually, he says mate. He calls me mate.
That's why I thought he was from the UK, maybe, or Australia.
The UK or something. But anyway, I have been very firm. But like I said, I don't negotiate with people. I don't do that. I'm not going to play that. So I told him, I said, no, you have to reinstate it. I want that account. I'll have to be on that account, and it has to be mine, in my name, everything transferred over. And I mean, if he does that, fine. Although I'm going to keep, even if he does do that, I'm still going to keep my backup account because I don't know if there's like something illegal.
Don't give him any cash.
Yeah. Oh no. My whole account has to be back and online. But
don't give him a penny, because I'll tell you right now, there's all kinds of things.
I'm not going to say it on a live show what I'm going to do in case he's listening.
No, I know what I said, guys, what he should do. So if you're watching, dude, I said Dave should just tell them. Again, we wouldn't. Okay. But I said you should just tell him something from the other side about one of his other loved ones. No threats, no nothing. Just
I thought about it. I didn't give him any threats, but it's like I probably could have brought up a whole bunch of stuff about him. I knew he lied about a bunch of stuff, and when I called him out on the lie, he was like, how'd you know? But I'm not going to use, I don't want to use spirit against him.
I know. Well, I said though, that would kind of freak somebody out, right? You know what it is? You know what it is, right? Like, it doesn't matter what you do. People just don't know who knows who or who knows what or whatever. We run into these situations all the time. We're getting off topic here with our ghosties. We got to get back into our ghosties. And that's what Kim said. Yeah. Okay. There you go. We won't say the B word, but she said, just tell the creep that karma's a biatch. And you're right. And that's, you know, what you put out there comes back to you.
Stuff comes back to you, but karma's also very, everybody else thinks that karma's a bad thing, and there's good.
It's a saying. I know what she's saying.
Yeah, it's a polarization. That's what I call it.
What energy you put out there,
you get back.
You receive back. Yep. And Jonathan says, I always say, in the end, does it even matter? This does matter, Jonathan, because he had such a huge following over there. You kind of popped in sort of towards the end of it. We didn't mean to get off track here. We just wanted to tell people about it so that you can find him if you're looking for him. We're talking ghosties. For those of you that just popped in here, we played because I had 2 EVPs. The first one we could not hear. Second one again on Monday night happening. The energy was crazy. Then I was telling you about this new YouTube Alone thing put it out by Oh My Gosh TV. Then we were talking about the Sally house. We were talking about, so we wanted to hear if you guys got some crazy ghost stories or locations you've been to, or
just let us know. But we were talking about ghosts, and my old TikTok is dead. So
but it may be resurrected from the dead.
I don't know.
You know what? I have a friend, and I need to have her back on, Vanessa Hogel and Gwen. Gwen, your name just went right out of my head, and I know her well. But the point is, what they did, it was on Amazon Prime, and I think they've done the 2nd season already. But their theory is, Gwen was the one that did a lot of photography and a lot of the equipment and what have you. But Vanessa is a medium. She's also, I believe, a witch as well. But their theory is kind of like what we've said before, that paranormal activity just doesn't happen at 3 a.m. And a lot of people have a false sense of security, meaning that it only happens when it's dark. No, it doesn't. Lots goes on in the daytime. We just don't notice. Their series was called Hidden Gems. And the first year they went to Ireland, but they purposely went to places that were not well known, but they could pick up paranormal activity. And I loved what they did because they purposely didn't go to places like Sally House. Nothing wrong with it, but they wanted to prove that it can kind of happen anywhere.
And you know, I kind of thought about this, Lorilei, and you can tell me what your thoughts are. I'm not cemented in this, but I thought about this. When I agree with you, paranormal things happen 24 hours a day.
That's what Jonathan just said. I get all my stuff in the daytime, and he got an EVP on his show on Tuesday.
There are certain places that I want to go to at night, late and early in the morning, but not because it's dark, but because sometimes stuff is so quiet in a house that you might miss it. When it is nighttime, usually, it's the residual noise on the outside's gone. So there's not as many airplanes flying over. There's not as many birds chirping. There's not as many anything to contaminate the evidence. Yeah. So I think that would be the only reason I would say why somebody would go at night. But I agree with you guys. I mean, Hey, I talk to dead people all during the day, so I talk to them all day long. All day long. There's a ghost in my house at some point of the day. So there's, it's
Well,
not.
thank God this pushy Jack ASS. Like, I'm not kidding. Monday night, I have never had that happen, you guys. Like, I don't know what that was. The minute I ended that show, I said to Carrie Lynn, who was my guest, I said to her, oh my gosh, I was so distracted. I have never, ever been like this on the show. And that's when she went, who's that guy that's here? And I go, in spirit, right? She goes, yeah. And I go, he was so pushy. And he was. He was so pushy.
I believe it's your intention and frequency, says Jeff. And yes, I have to agree with that. It is your intention, your frequency. Are you open? Are you susceptible? Can you pick up energies? It doesn't matter what time of day it is or anything else.
Okay, I want to bring this up then. See what you guys think about this. Now, have you guys noticed, all of you, and Dave included, but why do we always see in certain parts of the world geographically certain collections of different types of creatures and ghosts and entities? And what I'm talking about in Japan, like, I don't know how many of y'all have watched, but I've seen enough of them. You're going to catch something, whether it's live, paranormal investigation, whatever. It always seems to show up like the girl from The Ring with the long hair, the white dress, head down, right? Always. Then you go to the Middle East, jinns. I don't know how many of you have seen them. I've seen a lot on live streams. They'll call them jinns. And these things look like moving shadow things. They'll throw things at things. I've seen all this crap. Like, we're talking live, like not fake stuff. Or like, and you go down to South America, you seem to see that. I've seen a lot of strange stuff. But the one thing in particular, seem to see, you might call it a rake or whatever. Like, it's very tall, thin, no clothing, long arms and legs. And why are we seeing that? Like, what do you think? Is it a tulpa? Like, what do you think it is?
Personally, if I give it some thought, it depends. I want to say like the rake and all that stuff. I don't think it's the cryptid. I do think it's probably a tulpa.
Okay.
I would think so. That would be my guess. I mean, do I know 100% sure? I cannot sit here and honestly say that I know that 100% sure. It is my belief that it is rakes are tulpas. The ones from how we see ghosts in other countries, I do understand that. And I didn't understand that until I really started doing lots and lots of mediumship. Because when I read for people, when I read for like my friends who are like from India or people like that, or people I don't even know, their deities will tend to come in. And I don't know anything about Hinduism, but
Right.
they come in and talk to me and explain it to me in terms that I understand. And then I explain it to them. And then they ask me, they go, how do you know this? And I'm like, well, I'm not Hindu. I said, I'm talking to this deity. So I think because of the parts of the world we're in, you got to keep in mind, outside of the physical, can you literally are I guess you could say formless. You're an energy, and you'll present yourself the way you need to be presented. It probably wouldn't make sense for someone here to walk into a mid 18th century house and see, two people from another country having dinner together. I mean, that probably wouldn't make sense to them. They'd be like, what are these people doing here? So those spirits might.
I'm trying to find a clip as I'm talking to you, and I don't know where this was taken. This was creepy and strange.
I would think possibly maybe that's it. I don't know for sure, but I think it depends on where we are, occupationally. I mean, like even the biblical flood, that is in almost every religion has a version of that.
Okay, but I'm talking about paranormal activity that people are catching on camera, on lives that seem to be geographically located in certain parts of the world. But if you're going to see something with some frequency, depending on anywhere in that country, that's what seems to show up. That's what I'm talking about. Like, I'm talking about like the girl from The Ring. I have seen so many live videos
when they
investigations or Middle East freaks me out.
Getting back to what you said about tulpas too, if two people have some stuff and that's what they saw, most people are going to, that's what's going to come up in their heads. I mean, that's what they're going to do. We remember
This is on camera, Dave. This is on camera. Hey, Kevin.
Just how all of us perceive like an apple. If we put an apple in front of us, we'll all see a different kind of apple from our perception.
Yeah, but the camera's seeing it. The camera's seeing it.
But we're all going to decide how we see it too.
Okay.
I'm guessing. I don't know exactly. I'm just giving you theories. I'm just pulling up.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. I'm still trying to find this thing. I'm paying attention. I'm trying to find this thing I wanted to show in here. So,
hi, Brandy Reader.
Brandy Reader. Hi, guys. Sorry, I missed most of the show. My youngest had a soccer game.
Yeah, but that's just too bad, Brandy. I'm kidding.
Oh, dare you. No, I'm just joking. So Kim says, a group of my spiritual friends, 5 of us, walked through a local cemetery on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. to see if we could pick up anything, but no one picked up anything.
You know why?
They don't want to talk to you yet. Maybe they don't know you yet. Maybe.
Yeah, they don't know you. Or here's a common misconception: ghosts don't hang out, and they don't hang out, and people don't really hang out in cemeteries that much. Although but you know what? I have to take that back. I have gone to some cemeteries where I picked up stuff, and I've gone to the one where my grandparents are buried at. It's not far from my house, and that's the one that I saw in my coma, the inside of the house in the cemetery. When I go to that cemetery, it's huge. And I've sat there, and the only thing that I've ever saw in there is I've never had a spirit really interact with me while I'm there, and which is odd because they would know, hey, he could probably hear us, but they don't. But I have saw, because like I said, sometimes when I see spirit during the day, it almost, or even at night, it looks like heat coming off a road. I can see that ripple.
Yeah, you said that before, yeah.
And I've seen that a couple of times in the cemetery, but I can't validate it because a lot of times when I went to the cemetery, it's hot and it's during the day, so I could actually just be seeing the heat. So it's hard to tell.
I'm trying to find this. This is the weirdest thing, what I was going to describe. Thank you. It's okay. Azizan said, happy birthday night. Thank you. That's Tuesday. We're having birthday week. He says, hi, Dave. And then Leah says, and the skinwalkers and the Native American community. Now, Dave and I have different views on skinwalkers.
We do. We have different views, but I will say this. Skinwalkers with the natives go back thousands of years, and theirs are different. I mean, a skinwalker to Indians is different than the people who say they see skinwalkers and hear skinwalkers. Skinwalkers were used, I guess, to like curse the land sometimes. So they would say, this bad happened, so we're going to make sure nobody can enjoy this place. I'm just making that up. But so they cast this entity on that grounds that will, basically keep people out. And it's called the skinwalker because it changes form whenever it needs to. I don't know, but I've never heard or read in the paper that another person was murdered today by a skinwalker in Arizona, 3 p.m. Nobody's ever said
Can't prove that. Kim, you've never heard of a skinwalker. Well, while you're looking up a skinwalker, look up a Wendigo. And if you ever watch Supernatural, I think it's the 2nd episode. Look up the Wendigo episode. That's pretty freaky.
Think about Wendigos. Mm-hmm. What do you think about Wendigos?
Okay, I think it's kind of like the game of telephone, just like any of this is. And there's a big deal with skinwalkers, okay? Yeah. And a lot of it, I think, has come from Skinwalker Ranch and all of this stuff. A lot of the paranormal investigators are trying to find them. I have seen something on some cameras, and I agree. I think it's Brandy that said perception is key. I think everyone will see something different. That's true, but I'm talking about a live stream, and then it shows back up. Something is there. How about we'll say that? Something, and it usually seems to be the same kind of something that a majority could agree on is what I'll say. So I agree. So, and
okay, I misunderstood. I know what you mean now. I know what you mean. To see that, I know what you mean, because there are in certain parts, they're the same entity seems to show up for him.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Look up, no, they're not mouth breathers, skinwalkers quickly, or like what Dave said. Now, depending on where the legend is read and what,
yeah.
skinwalkers are supposed to take the form, I have heard, kind of like an animal, if you will. I've also heard they look like the skin's hanging off their face and they've got horns, and it depends on what tribe and where you look at it. Sometimes I've heard Wendigo and skinwalker used indirectly, there's in place of each other. So I think you got to look at the tribe and where the legend comes from. I think that that's where you get more of the information geographically.
I believe there's also a legend where the skinwalker is the wolf. It like changes, or not necessarily wolf, but animal. Goes from man to animal.
Yes, you were right. They can take different animal forms while they're
Yeah.
tracking you. Now, the biggest thing lately over the last couple of years is it will pretend to be human. You'll be in the middle of nowhere in the woods and you'll hear someone screaming, help me, and there's nobody there. There was a really interesting video that came out recently I saw of a guy that was riding his mountain bike and he was exploring. There were all these trees across and he was streaming live, and people asked him to go over, like put his bike over top of the logs and keep going. And I kept yelling at the screen, dude, the logs are there for a reason. Don't go. So he gets in there and he starts hearing somebody screaming for help and some crackling, whatever. So he boots it, gets out of there. Then his viewers kept bugging him to go back. So he finally goes back a few weeks later, no, probably a couple months later. He's saying, oh, wow, the logs are removed. I still kept yelling at the screen, dude, don't go back. So anyways, he's streaming this live. Again, all the bugs stop in the trees, like no buzzing, no birds. You can't even hear. Oh, I'm getting goosebumps.
I love that.
Leaves don't move. It's absolute silence. And he sees this thing come on camera. I don't know what the heck it was. I would never want to. I have so many goosebumps. I don't ever want to even run into this thing.
I have to say, if there's
wait, the first part I got to add that you can throw it all in. Then he goes, it was a motorbike, and he's trying to get the bucket out of there. He can't get
I saw that one.
Did you see? I knew you seen it. Okay, so he couldn't get the bike to start. Yeah.
That was creepy. I don't know what's going on, but I have to chalk it up as creepy.
Yeah, you saw that thing, right? Like, what was that thing?
Yeah, I would have took off too. I mean, I don't know what they were doing, but I wouldn't have been there. That's the one thing that creeps me out. I love the woods, but I will tell you this: when I'm sitting out there and everything stops, I do too, because I have learned from the animals when even
the bugs aren't moving or buzzing, it's time to leave. Yeah.
Yeah, you look at that. Leah said, I have to say, Leah said Bobcat sound like that. When people talked about the skinwalkers and those sounds, they'll say, like, people say help, or a lot of people say you'll hear like a baby crying in the background because they're trying to call you to it because it's a distressful sound. And I'm like, the only problem with that theory where everybody, they kind of stopped saying it, but that was a big one. Oh yeah, they'll sound like a baby, so you go in the woods and looking for them like a little kid. Most of the time, like Leah said, who lives out in the country, bobcats, foxes, especially here, foxes, bunny rabbits, and all that, they make distress sounds that sound exactly like babies.
No, this was help
It's
me.
different.
Like,
yeah,
help me, and loud.
No, that one, no, I'm not talking about that one. I'm talking about the other one. She was talking.
You do have to
help
that,
yeah, the help me. The one Lorilei talking about, you can literally hear it say help me. And it's not and it's not like an EVP that somebody had to put the letters up on the thing to let you could actually hear it. So yeah, I did see that one. That one creeped me out. I don't know what to make of it. I'm on the fence of it, but I'm on a 80-something% that it was really
real.
Yeah, it was creepy.
I think it was real too. But you are right, Leah. But you know what you added that was so good that I think is important. Anybody else that's an investigator involved with the paranormal in here will agree that you said bobcats sometimes sound like that. I think they are hearing them. They may be hearing them sometimes too. I agree. But I think that when we go into something paranormal, we have to go in with the thought that let's try and debunk it. You just can't say that, yeah, it's paranormal, right? We got to debunk it 6 ways to Sundays. What do you think?
Yeah, and they're branding. Did you guys just repeating everything I said? I'm kidding. No, it's true. Me and Lorilei do that. I mean, we both have things like sometimes we disagree on stuff, but we don't really disagree. Like, we just like, oh, I think it's this, I think it's that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's just see what
And
happens.
we respect each other's experience or what our knowledge are, because right, we all have different experiences.
Perception. Yeah.
I think so Jonathan was talking about that perception is key. I think everyone will see something different. Oh, that was Brandy, sorry, but he said something about energy. I'm trying to find it. Sorry, you did say it, Jonathan, but you were talking about that as well and what energy bring into it. Brandy offered bunnies make the distress sounds too. Oh, it breaks my heart when I hear them.
No, I can't hear that. I will stop what I'm doing and oh my God, did I tell you a car almost rear-ended me the other day? Do you know why? Because a squirrel ran out in front of me, and that squirrel, my God, is way more important than that dude behind me. He should not have been that close. And I slammed on my brakes when that squirrel ran. I'm like,
I found out something really awful tonight, and I'm glad that Del found it, not me. We
Oh,
had
no.
chicken wire up around the fence so the dogs wouldn't go into the garden, and he was harvesting the garden tonight. And some poor little mousey that was really big went through one of the chicken wire, and I guess he didn't get out. I said, oh my God, I am so glad you found that, because I would be a mess. I would be a mess.
Me too. Oh my God, we only got a couple minutes.
I know, but Lisa, I didn't even see you till here. Thank you for throwing this in here. You said, always look for reasonable explanations and experiment. Absolutely 100%.
Kim said, now I'm intrigued by skinwalkers. Listen, everybody, this is my advice to you. I know we talk about a bunch of stuff, and some of it sounds crazy and everything, but you know what? The whole world has a lot of unseen things. And I think it's best for everybody, if paranormal investigators, mediums, everybody, to keep an open mind.
Mm-hmm.
Because we never know what somebody else's perception might be extremely real to them. Mm-hmm. You know, we can't. A lot of us can say, "Oh, you're talking to a guy here who, when I was a kid, when I would say stuff, everybody would just say, "Oh, you're just imagining that." You know how much I got sick of hearing that? It's like, no. So keep your mind open. Go ahead.
Okay, we're going to read Aziz and Dragon, and then we got to sign off here, but don't take off yet, because I want to remind you, stay tuned. Second night of the Outer Realm with Michelle DeRoche and Amelia Pisano coming up next, and they got a great show, so you guys want to stay tuned for that. But we've got Aziz and Dragon saying, a friend of mine and I went for a drive across the bridge from here on Quebec side, so that's in Canada, and since we are divided by the Restigouche River, it is also a native reserve over there. Time is an hour difference. I'm not sure what else he had here. Sorry, I can't see the rest, my friend. I'm sorry. It doesn't tell me what the rest is. So Lisa says, the more we open ourselves, the more you will see. And David added, absolutely, Lisa. So you want to tell people where they can find you, Dave?
Yes, you guys, if you're looking at me, well, right now, we'll see what happens later, but you can find me on YouTube, TikTok, or Facebook under The Spirit Experience. Instagram is Medium David Hanzel. My other podcast is Mystic Stew. You can find anywhere. My website is theywhispertome.com. If you use the code Mystic Stew, it'll take 10% off any live reading. Oh, wait, whispertome.com. Yeah, theywhispertome.com. I had to think about my own website for a minute.
And I want you guys to stay tuned, like I said, for the Outer Realm. If you ever want to get a hold of me, you got a show idea, guest suggestion, or you want to book a reading. I do energy healing. I do teaching and mentoring. You can reach out to me on facebook.com/Angel Rock. I also have 2 groups on Facebook, all things paranormal. Paranormal is Paranormal University. Sorry, I don't know why I was looking over here. My camera's here. Sorry. And then I have the Angel Rocker Tribe for all things more spiritual. And I will be back here on Monday with the Angel Rock from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I may have a guest, or I might just hang out with you guys. I like doing this a little bit more often, and then it's your show. Maybe we'll talk about I don't know, maybe we'll talk about skinwalkers, or maybe Dave and I'll talk about it next week. You let us know. You can always tell us if you want something for us to talk about, right, Dave?
Just throw it out there and we will talk about it. If we know it, we'll talk about it.
Okay, Dave, hang on. I got to get queued up here. Oh, I hit the wrong one again with the new computer. Hang on. Okay, let's see. Okay. No, dog, stay down. My son let her in here. Are you ready?
Okay. 1, 2, 3. What's at the foot of your bed?
We almost did it. We were up by a second. Okay, dog, stop, please.
I think it hurts because we have a delay too.
We'll see you next Thursday, guys. Love ya. Take care.